quiet's driving me insane. Silence rattles in my brain. Yeah, I got.
It's that time again. It's time for another update on 101 Pans. This is 101 Pans Update 9. This has been such an awesome project. I'm always so very excited to sit down and film any updates with this project. And this is a rather exciting update. If you want to see if I have hit any more pans on this update, then just make sure to keep on watching. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe. I put out new content 2 to 3 times a week, so you don't want to miss out on all the fun. Also, make sure to check the down bar for all my other links to all my other social media platforms. I'm so kind of feeling this whole purple matte grungy look today. I did a collab over on my Instagram with a very sweet friend of mine, and this is the look that we came up with. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop on into the video.
I gotta save me from myself. This emptiness, it hurts like hell. My good intentions let me down.
Of this all matte purple and black grungy look I got going on today. I rather quite like this. This is a collab that I had did with a very sweet friend of mine over on my Instagram as a way to continue to raise awareness around addiction as a whole. I've been doing purple looks for the month of August and kind of have been continuing to do them all year round just as a way to bring awareness around overdose awareness and addiction awareness, and purple is the color for overdose awareness. We did this purple grungy look together, and this is definitely grunge, you guys. I'm not used to going so bold like this, but I really quite like it. I think it's really beautiful. So if you're wondering why I have such dark eyes and dark lip going on, this is why. We have officially been doing the 101 Pans project now for 1 entire year. It is so exciting. I cannot believe this month, the month of November, makes 1 full year that I have been doing 101 Pans. And in total, so far, I have hit 42 pans out of the 101 pans, so we still have a little bit of a ways to go. I'm definitely not going to be hitting 101 pans by the end of the year, so I think what I'm going to do is basically continue the 101 Pans project on into the new year. I definitely want to do a pan those eyeshadows of some sort moving into the new year, just because this is definitely one of the funnest projects that I am doing. It's a great way to really help you use and pull from different palettes that you might not have reached for necessarily without them being in the project, and just kind of a good way to show some neglected eyeshadow palettes a little bit of love as well. The original creator of Pan Those Eyeshadows is Alexi. She did this project for like 2 years and had since just really inspired a whole community of amazing project panners who have been doing this project and kind of made it into their own and put different twists on it, and it's just been such a fun project to watch. I really enjoy sitting down and watching everybody's progress and updates on this project. With that being said, this update, I have finally came to the decision to start picking my pans for the project from my inventory spreadsheet instead of randomly selecting palettes and then picking the shades of my choosing from those palettes. 2 shades is usually how I did it. Instead, since it has been past the 4-month mark in the 25 to 35 usage, the rule that I had given myself at the beginning of this year on any palettes and pans that are in this project, I am then able to choose a new palette. So all 4 palettes on this round have officially been in longer than 3 months. The Jawbreaker palette, the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette, and the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea have all been in since June 13th. So these have definitely been in longer than 3 months. And then the Zoeva Melody palette has been in since July 14th. So it has definitely been over 3 months. That gave me the perfect opportunity to just basically pick all new shades this round and randomly picking them from my spreadsheet of 2,328 pans of eyeshadow. Which is absolutely crazy, you guys. I cannot believe I have 2,338 pans of eyeshadow. Plus, I do have one pan that I did hit in this last update on these palettes. I will share with you guys the progress on these 4 palettes. Then we will go ahead and randomly draw 6 new numbers from my inventory. So I will be picking 6 new shades and just keep it at 6 pans in the project instead of 8 and then 7 and sometimes 10 and sometimes 5. So it'll just be a steady 6 pans every update, randomly drawn from my inventory spreadsheets. We'll start with the palettes that I don't have pan in, starting with my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea palette. Palette was randomly drawn and I went ahead and selected the shade Heatwave. And as you can see, there is a little bit of a dip in the pan, but no pan. And I have used Heatwave a total of 14 times. This was randomly drawn in on June 13th, so it's definitely time to roll it out. It is a really pretty palette. It's all mainly like real creamy shimmer shades, except for the one matte shade right here, which is called Tiki. No pan, but that's okay. I'm really excited to pick new shades to potentially pan with you guys. The next palette that was randomly drawn on June 13th was my Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, and I had this shades Good Morning as well as Gumdrop. And for the shade Good Morning, which is going to be really difficult to show you guys without blinding you, there you can kind of see it right there. And of course I will insert still shots of what the shade looks like, but I have used Good Morning a total of 41 times and still no pan yet, you guys, which is so crazy. Usually my going average rate is about between 35 to 45, give or take, uses before I hit pan, but there's a dip on there, but not even deep enough to potentially hit that pan. 41 uses is kind of a lot for me. I did use this shade quite often to just set my concealer and kind of blend out any harsh edges of darker colors that I may apply on my lid. 41 uses, but no pan. For the shade Gumdrop, I have used Gumdrop a total of 20 times exactly. There's what she looks like. There is a slight dip in it, and I kind of had the star worn down a little bit, but no pan. I'm excited to actually roll this out and pick something else and potentially try to pan. And then the last palette that was randomly drawn on June 13th was my BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I had the shades Spirit as well as Electric. And Electric I have used 23 times. As you can see, there is a nice dip in there. I was so close to potentially hitting pan in that. But since it's been in since longer than the 3 to 4 month mark, definitely, because it's been in since June 13th, so. And I've only used it 23 times. There's a nice dip. I'm sure I could have potentially hit pan if I really gave it more effort. I just kind of got bored with the shades that were in. They've been in for a very long time. And then the shade Spirit, I have used a total of 17 times. So there's another little dip in the pan, but definitely no pan yet. I would say BH Cosmetics pans and formula could be easy to possibly hit pan on. I think I have hit pan on 1 or 2 of their shades in the past, but no pans on this one. And then last but certainly not least, the shade that I did hit pan on is in my Zoeva Melody palette, which this was drawn in on July 14th. As you can see, I hit pan on the shade World Above, so I do have at least one pan to share with you guys. It's just a little teeny baby pan in there, but there is in fact a pan. And I have used World Above a total of 43 times, and I officially hit pan on it after 33 uses on September 14th of this year, not that long ago. I've used it 10 more times since hitting pan on it, and it's really soft, buttery, smooth formula. I really love Zoeva's formula. We do have at least one pan to share. And then the other shade that was drawn in this palette, because it used to be 2 shades per palette that was randomly selected, I would choose the shades of my choosing. So moving forward, it's going to be all random and it's going to be so exciting. The other shade that I picked out of this palette was the shade Gently Clasp, and I have used that a total of 15 times. And it is just a really beautiful sparkling purple shade. There is a really nice dip going on in the pan, but no pan, but that's okay. I really got a lot of good use out of this during my purple eye look series I've been doing over on my Instagram. I've been doing a lot of purple looks, so it really helped me to kind of reach for this and get some good use out of it. I am overall really happy with the progress that I have had on these pans that were in this update and on these past few rounds. Definitely content and happy with the progress. I always say, even a little progress is better than no progress at all. This is just a great project for that, to really help you reach for and potentially get use out of things in certain palettes that you might not reach for without it being in the project. And as you can see, I will insert the swatches of the color story that was in this round. It is a rather beautiful color story. I did, do my best at attempting to hit pan. I had one pan. My overall thoughts is I'm definitely happy with the progress that I had made, and I am excited to kind of move forward and start picking the pans all at random, which makes kind of perfect sense. It's the perfect timing because it is one full year in on the project, and now it's time to kind of switch it up a little bit and just start randomly selecting all 6 shades from my inventory. With that being said, let's go ahead and I will draw the 6 numbers of the shades. I'm going to write those down, and then I will pull up my inventory spreadsheet on my phone and see which palettes these numbers align to. 1,336, 686, 702, 1546. We have 2 more numbers left. 727 and 2,152. We have the numbers drawn, so now let me go ahead and go into my spreadsheets over here on my phone and kind of pull up the broken down inventory of my eyeshadow palettes so that I can find out what palette and what shades these will be. And I'm gonna go ahead and find all these numbers that match my inventory, and then I will come back and show you guys the shades that were drawn. I'm back and I went and picked those shades according to my inventory, and you guys, I have quite the selection here. It was rather fun and kind of interesting to kind of go through my inventory and go through each palette and write that number down and then count that number from the palette. I did manage to find all these palettes in these shades, so let's go ahead and start. I will start with the very first number that was randomly drawn, which was number 1,336. According to my inventory, number 1,336 was the 10th shade from my LA Girl Hot Hot Heat palette, the Everyday Vacay. This was actually in my original Pan the Way eyeshadow project that I had started at the end of last year. I will link that in the cards if you guys want to go check it out, but I did have 2 shades in here from a previous Pan Those Eyeshadows, which was the shades Vacay as well as Fiesta, were the 2 I was attempting to pan before. Now, how I count my shades is from left to right to count down. So from my left to right, shade number 10 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And number 10 is the shade Flame right here. So let's go ahead and give it a swatch. I do really love these LA Girl Hot Heat palettes. They are so buttery smooth and soft. Let's just go ahead and give it a swatch. At least it's a matte shade. Just because I am far more successful, I feel, at potentially hitting pan on mattes than I am with shimmers. We have one matte shade so far, and this is the shade Flame, which is a rather neutral, beautiful color shade. So hopefully I can be a little more successful this go around, because I did try to pan 2 shades in here again, and I was unsuccessful, but I was a rookie and just starting out on pan those eyeshadows. So I think I've gotten a little better since then. And the second number we drew was number 686, which according to my inventory, number 686 was shade number 14 out of my ABH Soft Glam palette. Which, if you open it up from left to right, the 14th shade in here is, of course, the darkest black matte called Nior. It is just a really black matte and black as can be shade. So that's going to be really, really interesting if I will be able to hit pan on a jet black shade. I guess I need to do more super smoky black looks like this if I want to try to hit pan on a jet black shade. It is really beautiful black matte though. ABH's Nior is like one of the most matte black shades out there, so I am excited about that, but to be able to hit pan on that, we shall see. And the third number that was drawn was number 702, which number 702 in my inventory was from my ABH Riviera palette, which is shade number 2. Shade number 2, which I knew the brush was gonna fall, but shade number 2 is the shade Yacht right here. We have one shimmer so far with 2 mattes, and there's Yacht. Very creamy, very soft. Just look at that shade. Look how beautiful that is. Even just these shades right here alone could make a really nice look. At least so far so good. The roulette gods are being rather kind to me right now. That is my third shade so far. We have 3 more to go. The fourth number was number 1546, which was from my Huda Beauty New Nude palette, which was the 4th shade in on this palette. So the 4th shade is 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the shade Fantasy right here, which is one of her crushed pearl shades, which, oh, these are just to die for. I really love Huda Beauty's crushed pearl formula. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous that is, you guys. So stunning. So pretty. It is a pink, warm tone, pink shimmer shade. And yeah, this is what we got so far. And the 5th number was number 727, which number 727 came from my ABH Jackie Aina palette, which is the shade number 13, according to my inventory. From left to right, the 13th shade is the shade Sponsored right here. So at least we have another shimmer shade, and Sponsored is so many people's like holy grail favorite, absolute favorite shade for a good reason. It is a really, really just gorgeous, gorgeous green with brown and kind of duochrome-esque type of shade. So it is very, very pretty. Sorry for the really crappy swatch, but it's right on my wrist. Here is what we got so far. We have 2 mattes and 3 shimmers so far, and then the last number in the last shade was number 2152, which came from my Nomad Tokyo palette, which was shade number 11. We opened this up. It's a beautiful pastel palette. The 11th shade is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is the shade Decora right here, which is another just beautiful duochrome, really beautiful shade. There is the shade Decora, and this is all of the swatches. This is all of my shades, you guys. I have 2 mattes to work with, which and 3 and 4 shimmers, but hey, we're gonna really try our hardest to try to hit pan on some of these shades. It was really fun kind of going through and picking them out like this. I see why so many of you do it this way, because it is rather exciting not really knowing what you're gonna get and from what palette. I'm really rather excited and am very hopeful to potentially hit at least 1 or 2 of these pans. We shall see. I think how I'm gonna go ahead and do it is continue to keep my same rule of thumb on after 3 to 4 months in the project and approximately 30 to 45 uses, give or take. If I'm feeling unsuccessful with any of these, is then when I will be able to go ahead and randomly select a new shade. Let's quickly do a recap somehow. The first shade is the Matte Rich Warm Neutral shade, and it is from my LA Girl Everyday Vacay, the shade Flame. Shade number 2 was the 14th shade in my ABH Soft Glam, which was the shade Noir, the black matte. Shade number 3 was the shade Yacht from the ABH Riviera palette. Shade number 4 is the shade Fantasy from my Huda Beauty New Nude palette. Shade number 5 is the shade Sponsored from the ABH Jackie Aina palette. And shade number 6 is the shade Decora from my Nomad Tokyo palette. And here are the swatches again. This is what we have to work with for the next couple of months. I am very excited again and rather hopeful. I do have some really gorgeous shades here. Hopefully I can, really put in a lot of focus and effort to potentially try to hit pan on these. Look at how matte and jet black that black is. That's going to be a challenge to do, but I do know ABH's formula is rather easy to hit pan on. So the fact that I have 3 shades from 3 different ABH palettes is going to be like my most highest chances to hit pan on, I feel. So I'm really excited, you guys. Yeah, this is what we got. And yeah, that's basically everything for this update and this round on 101 pans. I'm really excited to kind of do this project completely different now moving forward. And thank you so much for stopping by. Of course, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and comment down below. And until my next video, everybody enjoy the rest of their day. Bye.